It's time! It's Swain Event time!
My man.
It is time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. This is real sports talk for the real sports fan. Talk to him, Swain.
Get into his house and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. I'm Jason Swain, live here in the Low T Center studio. Look at us, Ben. Who would have ever thought? Both of our teams in the playoffs, my man. Who would have ever thought? Bears, Steelers. Look at us, man. Look at us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Who would have ever thunk it? It is
About that.
feels good. I'm still feeling really good after that thrilling Steelers victory over the Ravens on Sunday night. One of the best games of the year. I guess the Seahawks and 49ers game on Thursday Night Football a couple of weeks back would be right there hand in hand with the Steelers-Ravens for best game of the year. I would say that the Steelers-Ravens top it just because that was the very final game of the year and the season came down to the very last play. But happy to be in by the skin of our teeth.
The Bears
I'll take it.
The Bears win over the Packers a couple weeks ago on the walk-off touchdown, 50-yard bomb from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore.
We can throw that one in there as well.
Okay.
There's a lot of games this year, 272 of them. So I'm sure there are others that deserve to be in that conversation
The Bears.
as well.
All right, speaking of conversation, man, let's get right to it. You know, we don't have much time. Tennessee is in the middle of transfer portal season. Listen, we get the basketball, we get to it. They got to start winning some games, all right? Nate Ament, got to be Nate Ament.
Lady Vols are 2-0. What are you talking about?
Jalen Carey got to make free throws so he can put himself in the starting lineup, which I think he should be in. I think it's time for him to be in the starting lineup. He's obviously one of the best front court players. Your best players got to play your best. Since he's playing at home tonight, should win. The game is late as all get out. Good luck with the attendance. Go Vols. All right, transfer portal, Ben. Football. Guys on campus. Had some guys leave since we've been together. This is the first show of the new year. I think so. Yep, first show of the new year. And so.
Second.
Is it the second show? Yeah, second show. My bad. Tennessee got some work to do. One commitment in position to get possibly the second and third with the running back and the offensive tackle. Indiana right now with 8. Texas Tech with 9. Ole Miss with 7. Oklahoma with 6. Texas A&M with 8. Arkansas 7. Georgia 1. Just looking around the league right quick, 3. Mississippi State. So with what we know about what this team needs, we knew it all season long, especially after the bowl game, especially at home versus Vanderbilt, 2-game losing streak. It's time to go. And I know there's a lot of fans who are like, are we going? I thought we was going. When are we going? I'm waiting on us to go. I got the same questions about the aggressiveness of the transfer portal. Well, looks like Tennessee is in position for some that they've gotten on campus. Need to get more on campus. The portal closes on the 16th. So we got about, 10 days, Ben? Just because it closes doesn't mean people can't come to Tennessee and Tennessee can't get players from the portal. But it's obviously a frenzy at the beginning, no different than what it was last year when Ole Miss was gobbling guys from the portal, or the year before when Ole Miss was gobbling guys from the portal. And so you look at the approach now with Ole Miss, even though Lane Kiffin is not there, they got the same approach. So someone in the front office at Ole Miss is doing their job at a very, very high level because they are ultra aggressive, even though they are in the playoffs, no different than Indiana. And so a lot of fans are asking, yo, what's going on with Tennessee?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you questioned Tennessee's aggressiveness. I don't think Tennessee is being aggressive enough. I agree with you there. And I think the result of that is seemingly right now finishing second for multiple guys. I mean, there haven't been a ton of players go elsewhere just because we are still kind of in the early stages of players visiting and making decisions. But it just always seems like, at least these first couple of days, that Tennessee is trailing this school, Tennessee is trailing that school, Tennessee's trying to get this player to visit, but that player calls it off and goes ahead and commit. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, Bayard.
And yes, particularly with the safety from Colorado, Kevin Byard's younger brother. Kevin Byard, great Chicago Bear, playing in the playoffs here this weekend. Go Bears, bear down, baby. Yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee just needs to be more aggressive. And maybe you can package it a little bit better than I can, but I think it's just about being more aggressive on the front end than once you get them to campus.
I think
so.
I think you said it right.
We'll see if they can pick things up. I do think that they are positioned well for a couple of guys, and I think that commitment list is going to grow here in the relative near future at the time of this recording. And it is important to say at the time that this show is being broadcast because things change with the wind. Very fluid.
Yeah.
It is very fluid, but the visit with the LSU offensive tackle, Ori Williams, went really, really good. I think Tennessee has a lot of momentum there. As Ryan Callahan mentioned on our GoVols 24/7 podcast yesterday evening, Tennessee now trying to make sure that he does not go visit Georgia for a midweek visit. So Tennessee trying to make sure that it locks down that commitment. Zylan Perry, the running back from Louisiana, very Star Thomas-esque in terms of that tier of running back from the portal. I was kind of surprised to see them swing big at the running back position with Hollywood Smothers. I wondered what tier of running back Tennessee would go after because you do have Deshaun Bishop, who is a true number one in this league, in my opinion. So kind of thought that they would go for more the Star Thomas type right out of the gates. But they did swing big with Hollywood Smothers. But I think Alabama, after struggling to run the football this season, was very motivated to land Hollywood Smothers. And it sounds like there were some connections behind the scenes that helped them do so. But Zylan Perry, running back from Louisiana, he visited and things went really, really well. And then Jaquez White, the corner from Troy, that one is between Tennessee and Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. And that visit went well as well. So Jaquez White, Ori Williams, Zylan Perry, the trio of names that I think could potentially add to the commitment list here in the next few days.
All right, let's get to the phones, man. The phone lines are already on fire this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Swain.
What's up?
Hey, man. Dustin.
Dustin, good morning, sir.
Hey, man, I got a couple of quick things real quick, and then I'll get off. But here's what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it just a minute ago. Indiana's got 8 already.
Mm-hmm.
Now, no question, I feel like our coaching staff has hit on our portal in the past years. We've hit on the guys that we brought in, most of them. A big percentage of them. I feel like we've done really good at getting the quality.
Yeah, just got to get more.
The problem is, I think this year, man, yeah, we want quality, but we need quantity.
You need both, yeah.
And I think, what's so frustrating is you see this list of names that come in here, and it's like, how are you letting the day go by without us, without locking it down? So my question for you all is, you all were talking about the aggressiveness. Is it the money deal? I mean, like, are we not being aggressive enough with money funds, or our coaches aren't making these kids feel like, hey, man, we have to have you. You've got to stay here. We can't let you go anywhere else. Or, I mean, what is the aggressive that we're lacking? I mean, is Tennessee not is I mean, I get it. As Tennessee fans, man, we think this place is the best, and I feel like it is. But are the kids not seeing that? Because, I mean, what's the deal? Like, is it the money deal? Because, I mean, all we've been told is, yeah, we got the money to compete for championships. Well, then how are you letting these kids get off campus? I mean, is that it? I mean, and then my second thing, and Ben so like that, the Chaz kid, the defensive end from Penn State.
He's on campus.
I mean,
he was on campus
yeah,
yesterday.
But he left this morning. He was leaving this morning
to go to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened, right? Like, I mean, if you got the money to contend for championships, how do you let that kid get off campus?
Well, LSU, I'm sure, dropped a big bag on him too, and he's from Ohio. And when he hit the portal initially, many people thought it was Ohio State done deal. So, I mean, I think the heartstrings are saying Ohio State, but Tennessee and LSU's making it tough on him because we have offered him a lot of money. I don't know the exact amount, but
right.
The fact that he is not already committed to Ohio State means that LSU and Tennessee has given him a lot to think about.
Well, then, okay, can you answer this one, and I'll get off here, man, real quick. Who allocates the I guess the funds? Like, because I was thinking in basketball the other day, like, you know, we're paying Nate a lot of money to be here, and we kind of paid him like on a projection base, which I get it. Everybody's projection base. I mean, you don't really know what you're going to get, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, who's allocating the funds? Like, okay, basketball, you get this. Football, you get this. And, I mean, we all know that football
the football GM, or the closest thing to the GM, would be Billy High. So.
Okay, so he's the
Billy
one
High
that allocates
is the answer to the question.
Okay. So that's why, like, Indiana has, like, they've got their 8 people, but they probably – y'all were talking about being aggressive. They probably were doing some back channel stuff, like letting kids know up front, hey, man, you're going to get this before you come. So maybe Tennessee's not doing that. Is that what I'm understanding? Or
Tennessee is not doing what other schools are doing. How about that, Dustin?
Okay. Well, hey, man, I get it. I completely get it. I'm trying to read the tea leaves because I'm trying to understand, because I'm like, man, how is this happening? You know, but I get it.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter like what Tennessee is doing or not doing. They're just not doing what they need to be doing to improve the roster at the current moment. Like, that's like the details just doesn't matter. All we know is there's schools around the country that have been way more aggressive, that are, you know, bringing in guys, and Tennessee just hasn't done that yet. Now, it's how you finish, not how you start. Tennessee still can go out and get really good players, but you would think at the beginning of this thing that all the good players are going to go before the mid-tier players and the third-tier players. So, yeah, like there's a sense of urgency to go and get the best players possible at the beginning of the portal opening up. So, I hope that answers your question. Like, yo, we just not doing what we need to do. Enough.
Well, fellas, hey, I appreciate you, man. Just hopefully we can get it done, because
me too, man.
I mean, we know what happens if we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man. Let's keep it going. Good morning.
Good morning, Swain. Good morning, Ben. It's Mississippi Vol.
My man, Mississippi Vol. Good morning, sir.
I want to make a point, and I want to know if my point is valid.
Okay.
Like what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Okay. We're talking about Indiana, Texas Tech, right? What they're doing. Got it. They got a lot of money. Well, Texas Tech got a lot of money, but what my point is, though, those guys that go heavy in the portal every year spend money for older guys, right? So they're not doing much roster retention. So they know they're losing the guys they brought in last year, the older guys, and they replace them with older guys. So their budget is a little bit bigger because they don't have to do much roster retention. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's why those teams like Indiana, Texas Tech, who spends money like that, but they go get older guys. Same thing as Vanderbilt. You know, they'll get the older guys, so they don't have to do much roster retention because they don't quite recruit high schools like Ole Miss, Indiana, Texas Tech don't really go hard in the high school recruiting, they go more in the transfer portal. So they get older guys. So those guys leave. They just replace them with more guys. So they know their balance, their budget. So they're not doing much roster retention. That's how I look at it. As why they're so aggressive right now, because they're not worried about guys. What guys we got to keep? Well, we know we're losing this guy. And that's my point. Other than that, I'm gonna hang up and listen.
Hey, thank you, Mississippi Vol. That's the question. Check this out. 2024 Ohio State class. Would you say that their 2024 class was probably one of the best recruiting classes in the country, Ben McKee?
I don't have it in front of me, but I would assume so.
Do you need it in front of you?
I do not.
You do not. You do not need that information in front of you to know that Ohio State probably recruited better than most schools in the country. I got it right here. According to 247 Sports, Ben McKee, overall rank 3. 22 guys led by the 6-star, 101 rating Jeremiah Smith. 5 out of their 7 top-rated players in this class have hit the portal. 5 out of the top 7. And this is Ohio State, who just won a national championship. They're the standard. They're one of the 3 best programs in college football. What does that tell me? That tells me you're going to pay a lot of guys to come here as freshmen. They're not going to play as true freshmen. They may play in their second year, but if they don't, they're gone. So you spend a lot of money for 2 years of young players that you're probably not going to get a lot of production from, unless they're a freak like Jeremiah Smith. So if Ohio State is losing 5 out of their top 7 in their 2024 recruiting class, and you turn around and you look at what Indiana's doing, you look at what Ole Miss is doing, you look at what some of these other programs are doing that's having more success, they're hitting the portal harder. Does high school recruiting matter? Yes. But there are some schools that are like, yeah, we're gonna rock 75% high school recruiting, 25% portal. Or we're gonna rock 70% high school, 30% portal. Or 40% portal, 60% high school. There are some schools that's like, yo, we going 65% portal. We're going 60% portal. And we're going to pay for proven guys. They might not be playing in the U.S. Army All-American game or the Navy All-American game or the Under Armour All-American game when they came out of high school, but we have film of them playing at this level, at the college level. It may not be in the Big Ten or the SEC, but we have film of them. We know they're developed. And physically, they can come in and play day one. Emotionally, mentally, we know they can come in and play day one. So we would rather hit the portal and pay those dudes $500,000, $600,000 than paying a freshman and he never hits the field his first year. That is something that maybe Tennessee needs to look at and maybe critique and adjust a little bit. I think that's the Mississippi Vols point, and that's the point that Kevin and Simon and I made yesterday on Josh and Swain. That's a conversation that we had.
Yeah, and I agree with that conversation and that thought. I don't know that a program should just sell out for the portal, because I think you need to be nailing the foundation of your roster, and how you build a strong foundation, through my opinion, is through the high school ranks, making correct evaluations with high school players, and then developing them once you get to campus. I personally do not think that year to year you can live solely in the portal. I think, what's that?
It feels like Ole Miss is and Indiana is. And no, you'd have to.
Those are two examples, and Ole Miss just won its first 2 games in the playoffs, and one of them was against Tulane.
Tennessee hasn't won one.
I understand that. I did not say Tennessee is doing a better job than Ole Miss. I'm just saying, like, Ole Miss has not won a national championship yet, and let's wait and see if Pete Golding can sustain what Lane Kiffin bought. I do not believe that long term, year in, year out, living in the portal, you're only going that's the only way that you can have success. I don't. And all of Indiana's success, have they done a great job in the portal? Absolutely. They're also doing a great job of evaluating their guys, getting them to campus and developing them. That's the other thing. They're also doing that in the portal where they're taking a tight end that's ranked in like the 50s of the transfer rankings and number 37 for them, and he turns into this NFL prospect of where nobody else wanted him, but Indiana wanted him. So you've got to be able to evaluate and develop. And I think Tennessee should. I agree with what you and Kevin Simon are saying, and Mississippi Falls' point that Tennessee could live more in the portal. I said multiple times throughout last offseason that I did not like Tennessee's commitment to be so young, because I don't think that you can win football games being young at any level, just because of the physical nature of the sport. You need grown men. You need guys that are developed, and I think Tennessee is not fully committed enough in the portal and should certainly adjust. But my point is, when you live so heavily in the portal, I do think that is risky from year to year, because the portal can be so hit or miss. Does Indiana do a great job of it? Absolutely. Did Ole Miss do a good job of it this past offseason? Absolutely. But the offseason before that, they went out and spent a lot of money, went out and got a lot of transfers that were ranked highly, and they didn't make the playoffs because it didn't gel well together the year prior when they went out and got Walter Nolan and that bunch, and Lane faltered down the stretch that year as well. So that is the point that I am making is, yes, the transfer portal is great. Tennessee needs to take advantage of it more, in my opinion. But you just can't solely live on the portal year in and year out, because there's no guarantees with the portal. It's risky from year to year.
Ole Miss has had a better 3-year stretch in Tennessee. They were one game away from going to the playoffs. Like, I know on a year-to-year basis it's going to look different, and some teams are going to have more chemistry than others. But like, look at what Vanderbilt did to this young, talented Tennessee football team with older dudes, where Clark Lee lived in the portal. I just think
he didn't totally live in the portal. Their top guy, Clark Lee does a great job of building the foundation of his roster through the high school ranks, and then year to year filling in his roster where the needs are, using the portal to fill in those needs.
Man, they were the oldest team in the SEC.
It wasn't only because of the portal, though.
But what you're saying, here's the thing. We're saying the same things, but you're trying to make it seem like we're not saying the same things. We're saying Tennessee needs to live more in the portal, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You're saying that you can't live solely in a portal, and no one is living solely in the portal. But there are some programs who are leaning more in the portal than others. So you have to, and that's why I use the ratios. You have to find the ratio that works for you. Who is living 100% in the portal and not signing any high school players? No one's doing that. But there are some programs who are leaning more to the high school ranks, and it's not working. There are some programs who are leaning more to the portal, and it is working. That's the point I'm making. Indiana is living more to the portal. It's working. Ole Miss living more in the portal. It is working. Miami has not had a nice mix, but they've lived heavily in the portal as well, too. The guy who had a pick six transfer. We all know about their safety, their hard-hitting safety. He used to be with us. Transfer. The quarterback, transfer. They do have a freshman receiver that's a stud that should be a senior in high school right now. He's homegrown. So, like, yes, you got to have a mix, but what's the right ratio for Tennessee? Last year, the ratio for Tennessee was not right because you played too many young players in a grown man league. So what I'm saying is Tennessee's ratio needs to be adjusted, and you need to have more transfer portal guys, more guys who are physically developed, more guys who are mentally, emotionally developed. That's all I'm saying. Like, and it's not about money here. Does Texas Tech have more money than everybody? Yes. Yeah, they got more money. But I've said this for years. Everybody has money. Everybody. And no one should be surprised at what Indiana's doing because they have a good coach and they got money. Big Ten programs, they got money. Everybody has money, okay? But is your process a process that helps guys improve as football players and get to the next level? Do you win? And if you do that, you're going to get players cheaper than some other programs. So when you don't have the development, when you don't have the winning, you don't have the buzz and momentum, you're going to pay more for that. You just are. You're going to pay more for that. And so you look at what Ole Miss is doing, and Lane Kiffin ain't even there anymore. And they're recruiting at the same level in the portal as they did when he was there. Make it make sense. I can tell you what it is. There's only one common denominator. It has to be the front office. It has to be whoever's pulling the strings with getting the NIL deal done. It has to be that. Or maybe it's just the fans. Maybe the recruits just love the colors, man. Maybe they just love powder blue. I don't know. But when you are Tennessee, and you gotta be careful because Dabo was like, "No, man, I ain't doing it that way. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna do it the way I know. I'm gonna do it the way that's helped me win." And Dabo has been left behind. So when you look at the Final Four, there's a lot of dudes in that portal that Oregon is on their team. Ole Miss, Indiana, and Miami. Well, I think you should do more of what they're doing. Do what you're doing. Because obviously what you're doing ain't working good enough. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
You ready to talk about Ty Simpson? Huh?
We can talk Ty Simpson.
Yeah, buddy. You ready to talk a little Ty Simpson, baby Key? According to Tom Lloyd, 247 Sports, he put out a report over the weekend that Ty Simpson, if he does not get a first-round pick from the NFL draft, or grade from the NFL draft, that he could be playing for another college team. He linked Tennessee. He linked Oregon. I do find it interesting that Ty Simpson has not declared for the draft yet. We've had a lot of people declare for the draft already. A lot of people that will be drafted below Ty Simpson that do not have a better grade than Ty Simpson. They've already declared. You have quarterbacks who've already stated that they're returning to their schools. Already stated. Ty Simpson's done neither. Have you heard a lot of buzz with Tennessee and a transfer portal quarterback? Have we heard a lot of buzz, Ben?
Nope.
No, sir. We have not. I think there's a reason for that. I think Tennessee obviously wants Joey Aguilar to come back, and they're waiting on the answer, which they should get fairly quick. If Joey Aguilar is able
so?
I think so. If Joey Aguilar is able to come back, I think you roll with Joey Aguilar. If Joey Aguilar is not able to come back, your next option has to be Ty Simpson. It has to be. Ty Simpson, if Ty Simpson jumped into the portal like every other quarterback, Ty Simpson would be the number one quarterback in the portal. Like, there's no debate here.
Take him over Swarsby and Levitt?
Yeah. I don't know if Swarsby is a first-round quarterback right now, if he decides to come out. I don't know if Levitt is a first-round quarterback if he decides to come out. Ty Simpson is a baller. He had some issues this year. He didn't have much protection at Alabama. Ty Simpson is a stud. At one point, Ty Simpson was a leading candidate for the Heisman. So I'm not letting that Alabama stuff influence me, and no one hates Alabama more than me. Ty Simpson's a stud. He's a freaking baller. He's tough as nails, stands in the pockets, delivers accurate balls. Dude, he's amazing as a quarterback at this level. So I think that's your second choice if you're Tennessee. And then if that does not work out, there's still that quarterback at UNLV that's still in the portal.
But will he be in the portal by the time Joey Aguilar's decision is known? Or not decision, but situation is known? Will he be in the portal if Ty Simpson does declare for the draft, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but seems like the expectation is that he will declare for the draft by the end of the week. Look, I'd sign up for Ty Simpson right now in a heartbeat. I think he is a terrific quarterback. I think he's a first-round projection because it's a weak class, but it's still likely a first-round projection, and to me, that's even more reason for him to go, is because it is a weak quarterback class. So we'll see what happens. It's very, very interesting. I do think it's risky letting all of this play out for Tennessee because the backup plan is George McIntyre and Faison Brandon. Certainly two talented quarterback prospects, but how ready are they going to be next season in a pivotal year for Josh Heupel to produce at the level needed? So I do think it's risky to not follow a path that has more of a sure thing just because Joey Aguilar's situation and Ty Simpson's situation don't currently inspire a ton of confidence.
I don't think they're the
Certainly,
backup plan.
Say that again.
I don't think the young quarterbacks are the backup plan. I think another quarterback from the portal is the backup plan. I think there's a backup plan before the backup plan.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so. I just fear that at that point you are the well will have dried up by the time that you reach that backup plan, which unfortunately seems like the most likely scenario. I mean, would you say it's more likely Tennessee ends up with Joey Aguilar or Ty Simpson, or they do have to find another backup plan? I know that you said that you're expecting you sounds like Tennessee believes they're going to hear something on the Joey Aguilar situation soon, but do they think it'll be a favorable outcome?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly.
So wouldn't it be fair with that thought, wouldn't it be fair to think that at the moment here on January 6th, it is unlikely that Joey Aguilar and Ty Simpson is one of Tennessee's starting quarterbacks next season unless something changes?
I can't even say that. I will say, personally, I don't think Joey Aguilar deserves another year. I don't think Pavia deserves another year. I think these guys need to go. Now, do I love me some Joey Aguilar and what he's done in Tennessee? Yes, I do. And if the ruling is positive in his favor and he's able to play, I will be happy because he did a good job for us. Okay, but it's like as a college football fan, enough is enough, okay? But I don't know what his chances are being able to come back. Ty Simpson, if he doesn't get a first-round grade, that bodes well for Tennessee or Oregon or whoever that may have a chance to get him out the portal. I was watching ESPN this morning, and Jordan Reed, who's one of their NFL analysts, he only had two quarterbacks in the first round. He had Mendoza, and I want to say he had Dante Moore. The Jets are looking for a quarterback, pick 2.
Steelers are looking.
And the Raiders are looking at pick 1. If I'm the second quarterback on the board, I'm not coming out. I don't want to play for the Jets. I want nothing to do
there's talk
for the Jets.
There's talk that Dante Moore may stay at Oregon.
If he stays, then that means that Ty Simpson could be quarterback number 2. But if you're Ty Simpson, you don't want to go to the Jets either. I think the best situation for any of those quarterbacks coming out, if you put the money to the side, because, hey, you can get a lot more money with your signing bonus being a top 5 pick, but being selected late, better team, and being a possible backup for a year. Like, let's say the Rams. All right, Matthew Stafford's getting older. That's a perfect situation. Or I can't think of another off the top of my head. Maybe
Aaron Rodgers might come back for another year.
okay, Steelers. Steelers would be a good place too. Like those are really good spots that a guy like Ty Simpson and Dante Moore should go, but the money is so much better in the top 5 picks. But those are cesspool situations, man. The Raiders and the Jets, like the Jets is worse than the Raiders, but like if Ty Simpson wants to avoid the Jets and come back to school, he's going to make more than the entire contract of a 4th or 5th round pick.
Yeah.
In one year. So Josh Heupel, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about Josh Heupel. Dude, I trust him 1,000% when it comes to transfer quarterbacks. He doesn't need the top tier transfer quarterback. He doesn't. He needs top tier defenders. He needs top tier offensive linemen. So I don't really care that he's slow playing the quarterback in the portal. I care more about us being what I feel is a little behind in how we are with our aggressiveness, pursuing other guys in other positions. But I ain't worried about Josh Heupel when it comes to a transfer quarterback. He doesn't miss. Look what he did with Joey Aguilar, who UCLA didn't want, who was at Appy State. Look what he did with Joey Aguilar. The dude led the league in passing yards for most of the football season. If he can do that with Joey Aguilar, he can have success with a lot of quarterbacks in the portal who are not highly rated. So I'm not worried about that.
That's a great point. Do not disagree, but I do still fear that Tennessee is really risking things by the route that they are taking to pursue an additional quarterback. I just worry. Like again, at this moment in time, Joey Aguilar and Ty Simpson don't seem likely. Things might change. It's certainly not ruled out or anything like that. And I would take Joey Aguilar or Ty Simpson in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, for my seat, it just does not look likely at the time of this show. So something is going to have to change there. And if something does not change there, then I do believe on this path, Tennessee might be stuck between a rock and a hard place. But that is where you can find some optimism, even if they do end up between that rock and a hard place, is that Josh Heupel does really well with transfer quarterbacks. And honestly, like the profile of Joey Aguilar might be the profile that Tennessee ends up with if it does reach that point, if those are the waters they're fishing in at that point. Heupel's already shown that he can take a fish from that pond and make a pretty dang good meal out of it. So that, to your point, that should give Tennessee fans a lot of encouragement and optimism.
This hot sauce, boy. What? Like I'm not concerned about Heupel and the quarterback position next year. I think he's gonna do a good job there. What I am concerned about is dudes up front. Tennessee is in a position to land the transfer tackle from LSU,
Ori Williams,
and that sounds great. Big old dude, 6'7", huge. Got 3 years to play. Got a chance to be a good player. Did an interview saying that he prefers left tackle. Well, he's not playing left tackle because David Sanders Jr. is playing left tackle, which means, hey, he had to be okay with right tackle, which he should be okay with right tackle because Darnell Wright is one of the best tackles in the NFL. He plays right tackle. So this whole thought that, man, the best plays left tackle, nah, man. If you're good, you're good, and you'll get paid like one of the best tackles in the league. So it doesn't matter if it's left or right. So if he comes in here, plays right tackle. My question is, why not bring in another interior player from the portal? why not bring in a really good center? I saw with Baylor transfer center who was ranked number 1 dude in the portal went to Kentucky. I look at Jesse Perry. I'm like, yo, the guy can play tackle. He can play guard. Let him play tackle. He's earned it. He's proven he can play that. You pay him. You pay the guys you have on campus. He's from Tennessee. We know he takes pride in wearing that power tee. You pay him what he is deserved, rather than overpaying from a guy outside of the program who's coming from another program who you're going to have to pay a lot of money to, and you still have a center issue. You still have issues with snap infractions, us getting blown up in the running game. Like that Georgia game, people were complaining about Josh Heupel's play calling and how he was so conservative after Tennessee got that sack fumble from Georgia. I defended Josh Heupel. I thought the play call was right because the numbers said run the football. The numbers were in your favor to run the football. But
you didn't execute.
You didn't execute because you got blown up front from guard to guard because you didn't have enough talent in that position. So why not address that? Why not address that? I don't care how good you are quarterback. Ty Simpson is a borderline first round, second round pick. Got his back blown out this season. I said it. Got his back blown out, Ben McKee. Keep a straight face. Because he didn't have the linemen. And he didn't have a running game. Didn't have the protection. And so, why not address those areas? So that's honestly my concern, even more than Heupel going out and getting a quarterback. I ain't worried about that, man. Heupel don't miss when it comes to that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now it's still important that Heupel continues to knock out the quarterback position out of the park. Just because you've done it successfully 3 times in a row does not guarantee success the 4th time around. But I do agree with you that there are certainly more concerning issues with the roster. Offensively, you do start up front with the offensive line. Dylan Ellerby's track record been pretty solid in the portal, but his high school recruiting obviously leaves a lot to be desired. I know that's a hot topic amongst Tennessee fans right now, and we've had it enough on this show. What's that?
Yeah, I said nowadays. I mean, we was pretty early on that, so we're not gonna spend much time there. But
no,
yeah.
we're not. But unfortunately, at least for me, it does not inspire confidence that the offensive line will take a big step forward, which is what is needed.
Well, here's the thing, man.
Because like you mentioned with Ty Simpson, he was running for his life all year long. Tennessee doesn't shore up its offensive line and is able to pull off a miracle and get Ty Simpson to Knoxville. The same thing's going to happen.
Here's another thing too, Ben. It's not just about having an offensive line that can produce results for you offensively in terms of the running game and the passing game. You need a good offensive line to sharpen the iron of your defensive line. You were not physical enough, you were not good enough, and the defensive line didn't get good looks because you didn't hit enough. You didn't have studs. You need more studs up there because now that sharpens the iron of your defensive line. So now when your defensive line is going up against teams in the SEC, they're prepared.
Yep.
I mean, DBs make receivers better.
And that goes both ways, too.
Yeah, it goes both ways. So this new strength coach will promote this environment of toughness and physicality. But at the same time, you have to be willing to hit in practice, be physical in practice, LRB, Heupel, so that way your D line can get a good look, so they can play with the physicality that's needed on Saturdays. So for me, it's bigger than just we need to be better offensively, up front, and be better in our passing game, running game. You need to get better so you can help the D line sharpen their axe as well too. That's how I look at it.
Oh, I totally agree. And I would add that it helps the offensive line, too, when they're being physical and hitting others in practice. The offensive line itself needs to be doing that for its own good, on top of also sharpening the iron of the defensive line. And look, vice versa. I don't know your thoughts on this, but I'm just as concerned with the defensive line as I am the offensive line going into next season. Now, obviously, I have a lot more trust in Rodney Garner than I do Glenn Ellerbe, but when I say that, it's more just from the personnel on paper. Like, where's the pass rush coming from? The pass rush was not good at all this past season, not good enough. I would say that it played equal to the offensive line, if not even a little bit worse. So, like, I have a lot of trust in Rodney Garner. Don't get me wrong. I would bet on him figuring it out. But, like, as we sit here today on January 6th, like, to me, that's a concern. There's one edge rusher, Leo, that's still on the roster at the moment, and Jordan Ross, and he's not even a sure thing to stay. Tennessee's fighting to keep him on campus. And if he were to go, your entire Leo room has been cleaned out with Joshua Josephs going to the draft, Caleb Herring transferring. If Jordan Ross were to transfer, Kellen Lindstrom, Emmanuel Okoye, those guys left. I guess Christian Gass would be the only one. He was a true freshman this past season coming off of injury. Tennessee likes him, but like he can't be your starter next year unless he takes a significant step forward. So is Chaz Coleman, the Penn State Leo, is he the most important target for Tennessee on the board, given Tennessee's lack of pass rush last season and the lack of bodies in that room? So I'm with you on the offensive line, but I would throw in that the defensive line at this moment in time is just as concerning because they weren't physical enough this past year either.
Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. I'm Jason Swain. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Stay with us.
What's up, Swain Event crew? Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Fall sports can be a roller coaster ride for us fans. The excitement, drama, and passion will make us crazy sometimes. I can't manage the games, but I can help you manage your real estate needs while you're cheering on the Vols. Reach out at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Guys, you can feel your energy slipping away, losing what makes you, you. It could be low testosterone. Take action now. Low T Center can help reclaim your energy with a quick and simple free T-test. Visit Low T Center and receive pharmaceutical-grade testosterone never compounded like other clinics. Experienced providers increase your testosterone to the level that is just right for you. Treatment is covered by most major insurance with affordable self-pay options available. The best you is waiting. Book your free T-test at trtmvp.com. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
It is that time of the show where we hit up the Beatty Chevrolet text box, BeattyChevrolet.com. Hope everyone's having a great morning on a Tuesday. Ben McKee, GoVol 247, Jason Swain, live from the Low T Center studio. Let's see here. Chris Johnson Jr., Speed Kills. Oh, yeah, I saw him. SMU. Yeah, man. The same Leo room that didn't record a sack since the Arkansas game. Yeah, the Leos took a step back. They had a new coach, and that coach was not retained. They have a new coach now, in Andrew Jackson. And so I know Rodney wants that front seven to be a whole lot better and create more havoc. So they were not beefy enough in the right places. Really light in the pants, I thought, in the interior of the defensive line. And that was an issue. So you got to get some more girth up in there, and that should be the objective from the portal.
And they are working to bring in Xavier Gilliam, the other Penn State defensive lineman. He is more of a true defensive lineman than a Leo.
That's what we need right there. We need both of them.
And then those Leos had the nerve to ask for even more money than they were making.
Well, you ask for more money when you know you when you feel like you're not maybe being developed, and maybe you're not happy with the situation. You ask for more money to make up for it. It's like, David Sanders Jr. We got him from Ohio State because we gave him way more money than Ohio State was willing to pay. Georgia does not have to pay the same price as everybody else because they're like, yo, we gonna develop you, we gonna win, you going to the league, so they don't have to overpay. Tennessee needs to figure out some of that too, but I'm not going into that.
Well, I have a quick question, and then we can move on.
Yes.
Your point about Chop, well taken. I understand that.
I like Chop, man. I hate that it happened.
What was the difference between him and Mike Eckler? Mike Eckler wasn't coaching up the outside. Did you see what Byron Young accomplished on Sunday? What James Pierce Jr. accomplished on Sunday?
They're supposed to get better coaching at the NFL level.
Were those Mike Eckler developments or Rodney Garner developments?
Those were the coaches at the NFL that coach him every day. They're supposed to get better at coaching at the NFL level.
Well, yeah. But Rodney Garner gets credit for developing those guys as well, and helping set them up to have success in the NFL. I mean, Byron Young is a terrific developmental story for BY and for Tennessee. Is he not? Does Tennessee not get any credit for developing those guys and sending them to the league?
Yeah, but you're talking about what they did this year.
Yes, but the point in me referencing their success on Sunday was me pointing out Rodney Garner doing a good job of developing them. But who was technically the Leo coach during their time at Tennessee? Who was technically the outside linebackers coach? Mike Eckler.
Rodney had more of a hands-on approach with the whole group. Chop had his own room more this year. Rodney had less of a hold on the entire group, both positions, than what he did this year with Chop having his own room. If that makes sense.
It does make sense. It's just weird to me from the outside looking in that you saw Tennessee and Rodney Garner develop Byron Young, develop James Pierce Jr., play a key role in getting them to the next level and their future success. But then now you want to question your development.
No.
And how you're going to be developed here.
No, you're missing it. The dynamic was different
then
than it was now. Rodney wasn't coaching the Leos this year. It was just Chop.
Yes.
In the past, Rodney had more hands-on, more to say, more influence on both positions with Leo's and his defensive line.
But they made a change this offseason.
They put Chop on the field. Chop had his own room based on how much success he had in recruiting. He had earned that right. It just didn't work out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I when I said they made a change, I'm referencing the current change that they just made with Andrew Jackson. Like, wouldn't that make you – and we're obviously talking about Caleb Herring.
Well,
like,
Andrew
wouldn't
Jackson,
you feel better about that if you're Caleb Herring?
Well, Andrew Jackson and Rodney may work better together.
Yeah. And, yeah, absolutely. My point is I think Caleb Herring is more about Caleb Herring than having a Tennessee issue.
Well, he asked for a whole lot of money, and if you're Tennessee, you can't pay him that money because the production just wasn't there after the Mississippi State game like it needed to be. And, hey, man, if he wants to go somewhere else, cool. If he thinks he can go get what he's asking, which, dude, we're talking like quarterback money. Like, come on, man, we not paying you that.
It looks like somebody's going to give it to him.
They might. We not. And we should.
No, and Tennessee should not.
And we should not. Yeah. So, like, you can add a little bit to what Caleb Herring was asking for and pay Chaz Coleman, but, like, you can't pay Herring what he was asking for. And but my point is, the Leos in the room were not necessarily thrilled with the year, okay? And so, of course, they're going to ask for more to stay. But if you have a guy who is happy, and he's happy with his position coach, and they're happy in their roles, then they're not going to make a stink. Because I can tell you right now, that receiver room, I'm pretty sure Staley's been tampered with. I'm pretty sure Mike Matthews has been tampered with. But they're happy. I'm pretty sure they've been offered more money than what they're making in Tennessee. But they're happy. And happiness matters. It's not always about chasing more money. See, people think that that's all these players are doing is chasing more money. Not all of them are doing that. Not everyone does that. Coaches have stayed in their spot and declined getting more money because they're happy. It's not always greener on the other side. If you're happy, you stay where you are. And you're seeing more and more of that with coaches deciding to stay. And you have players on this roster that could go somewhere else to make more money, but they're happy. So they're good. And they have an opportunity to play at the next level and get a bigger bag that's more stable than the bag that they're getting here, because the bag they get here is just a one-year bag. All right, I'm going back to the phones. Good morning.
Hey, guys. How we doing this morning?
What's up, Turkey Man?
Hey, man. What's the penalty for tampering with players now in this?
Wouldn't know, man. No one's got in trouble.
I just wondered what that was.
Well, I guess Iowa got in trouble. But let me see what their penalty was. Go ahead and look it up. Let's see what happened with them. Because it happened with the tackle from Alabama, and they were really stupid about it. But go ahead, Turkey Man. I'll tell you in a little bit.
That's where I'm saying that there's no rules, but they are rules.
Well, there's no rules if no one's really getting in trouble.
Well, I'm going to say, but there's supposed to be rules, but they're not rules. And what's the going price for a 5-star recruit out of high school versus a 5-star or improved to 4-star that's a 5-star in transfer portal? What's the difference in the money there?
Well, it depends on what position he plays.
A quarterback.
A top-tier quarterback out the portal is going to cost you no less than $3 million. Sorsby from Cincinnati got $5 million from Texas Tech.
Okay, what would we have to pay if we got Ty Simpson?
No less than $3 million. No less.
Okay, and so a top tier quarterback out of high school. What's the going price for one we got that's supposed to be number one that's coming in?
It depends on the motivation of the school. For instance, Bryce Underwood, who is the number one quarterback in the country last year he got what, $7 million, Swain?
Was that his contract or what he got per year?
I think that was the length of his contract. So maybe he was around 2.5, 3 per year. But they paid a lot of money. Tennessee didn't pay that much for Faison, but it had to pay up, obviously.
You know, the thing about it, there ought to be a lesson somewhere, and that's what I'm saying. There's no rules and not understanding the rules. That's kind of the confusion we got going on right now. But the deal with Nico, if they'd been something in writing that they would have had to been a penalty for doing what took place, maybe not. That's the only thing I can see.
What you mean, Turkey Man? A penalty for what?
Well, if you do something in your job, there's a clause here that you'd have to pay back. I mean, putting it in writing when you receive something that if you're going to move, there's a penalty.
Well, the penalties don't get paid no more.
Well, no, but there ought to be a penalty for the money that was given if you break.
So you're wanting to pay Nico? You want Nico to pay money back to Tennessee because of how it ended?
Well, if you got to do something, if you're going to be tampered with, and you're going to do that, that'll be a penalty accordingly. I don't know. There ain't no rules now. But if you're going to pay a high school kid this much, it ain't never been proven. And then he says, I want to go double money and leave after you've worked with him. No, you can't play a high school kid. The very few that can be 5-star come out and start, as I've heard Swain talk about, he's not ready. Then you've got to have a period of development so they before you get to that period of time, it seems like it hits the portal. And that's what is confusing from the fan and hard to understand what's going on.
Yeah, Turkey Man, thanks for the phone call. Like, hey man, there's a price tag you got to pay for top tier players out of high school. There's a price tag you got to pay for top tier players out the portal, and what you are seeing in terms of tampering, there's not been any really enforcement or strong penalties. Iowa self-reported a violation. It was a level 3, but they didn't get hit real hard. I mean, they went to a bowl game, beat up on Vanderbilt, which was fun to see.
Kirk Ferentz was suspended for a game along with an assistant coach, which again is not getting hit hard.
Yeah, like okay.
And I think they missed the season opener against Illinois State. So there are no. Well, first and foremost, I think all you need to know is that it's not being enforced. Like, we're not even reaching really the points of punishment unless it's just totally obvious. And for Iowa, it was in the recruitment of Cade McNamara.
You can't enforce it.
No, you can't. And I would say to Nico or to Turkey Man's thoughts on Nico, like if you're wanting to put that in a contract of these players, then the players are not going to come to your school because other schools are not putting in their contracts that they're going to punish the player if they decide to leave. The agents will not allow them to come to your school, and it's up to Tennessee to properly evaluate and think that this player is worth that much money. It's up to Josh. It's Josh Heupel's responsibility, or I guess really Billy High's responsibility.
It's Josh Heupel's responsibility. He's a head coach. He's a head coach. Yes. He's a head coach.
I do think that Billy High has more say than people realize.
He does.
And is more from the top down outside of the football program.
He does.
But regardless, it's Tennessee's responsibility to make sure that Faison Brandon is worth what they are paying him.
Facts.
And Bryce Underwood apparently, reportedly, his multi-year agreement is valued between $10 to $12 million. So it just depends on year to year and how motivated schools are to go get a quarterback. Bryce Underwood was committed. Where was he committed before Michigan? USC or LSU?
LSU.
And Michigan boosters were fed up.
They had one booster that shut the whole deal down. I know pointing over there at Barstool. He got a lot of bread, but they had one booster that shut it all down. And that's what I'm saying, though. Everybody has money. So what are you willing to do that's different? Who are you willing to be that's different than everybody else? How are you standing out? How are you unique? Everyone has money. The money looks the same. It's green. It's paper. It looks the same. There's nothing different about $1,000 on the East Coast, $1,000 on the West Coast, or $1,000 on the up north or south. It's all the same. Now, I know there's other things like taxes and whatever like that, but like the money's money. Guys want to be developed. Guys want to win. Guys want to work with people they feel comfortable with. Guys want to go to the next level. In Indiana, in Ole Miss, in Miami, Texas Tech, Oregon, Georgia, these programs, Ohio State, they're doing a really good job in that department, in all three areas. Because, again, everybody has money. LSU is proven that they got money. Look who they have a head coach with the women's, Kim Mulkey. They're paying her a lot of money. Look what they're willing to pay to get rid of Brian Kelly. Look what they're willing to pay to get Lane Kiffin. They're paying Lane Kiffin for Ole Miss's success. They got plenty of money. They've had plenty of money. But they haven't been to the college football playoff yet. So it's not about, do we have enough money? What's going on? We got money. It's how you're using the money that you have to be better. You have to be better. You have to get in the game. You have to get in the game. And there's no way to enforce tampering because agents can talk to whoever they want, whenever they want to. A player's representation can talk to whoever they want to, whenever they want to. A player can't talk to the school, but the school can talk to the agent whenever they want to. So you see in some schools who are ahead of others because maybe they did some groundwork. Maybe they didn't, but maybe they did. All I know is sitting here complaining about the transfer portal and complaining about NIL, I'm beyond that. Like this is 2026. It ain't changing right now. So what you need to focus your energy on is finding a way to win with the current climate. Nobody cares about the whining and the excuses. No one cares. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. Collective bargaining. That's the answer. Swain, if you're Ole Miss, would you allow Weiss to coach in the college football playoff? Yeah. Dude's a stud. You know what Charlie Weiss has proven? That boy can coach offense without Lane Kiffin. See, what happens, and we had this conversation last time we were here, is when you have offense coordinators who are coordinators for offensive coaches, they don't get that credit. Joey Halzle, he's not getting credit. It's Josh Heupel's offense. He won't get credit. Charlie Weiss, on the outside looking in, didn't get credit because, hey, it's Lane Kiffin. He's the offensive guru. What Charlie Weiss has proven, he's the offensive guru. He's winning with Pete Golden, who's the defensive coach. Charlie Weiss has made himself probably more money, more value in 2 games in the college football playoff than a whole season under Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss.
There was a report yesterday that NFL teams are starting to consider him for offensive coordinator vacancies.
Yeah, he told Chris Lowe that he's not interested.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he told Chris
But
Lowe.
still, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But your point that his stock has skyrocketed because of what he has done in the playoffs to the point to where now NFL teams are looking at him or intrigued by him.
Irrelevant from West Tennessee Vol, but on the side note, me and Hubs watched the FCS National Championship game last night. It was kind of fun. Montana State won overtime after they blocked Illinois State field goal. It was a barn burner game. I fell asleep. I was watching it too. It's a great game, man. It was good to see Illinois State get back into it. They were down multiple scores, but I fell asleep before halftime, I guess. C-Mac, so this is a low-key head coach audition for Weiss in a way. Every coordinator is auditioning every day if they want to be a head coach. So, yeah, absolutely. But if I'm Ole Miss, Charlie Weiss is the most important LSU assistant coach. He's the most important. He calls the plays. City Vol, are we even considered the leader for anyone in the transfer portal other than the LSU tackle?
The running back from Louisiana, Zylan Perry, and possibly Jaquez White, the corner from Troy.
What about the linebacker from North Carolina?
I haven't heard much on him.
Well, he was here. He said he's gonna make another trip somewhere else, and then he's gonna make a decision here in the next couple of days. But I don't know if Tennessee is a leader.
I do not either.
So all I know is you just gotta make it happen. And we talked all the time about things not being black and white. That there's a gray area. This is black and white. Ben McKee. You got to get it done. There's no gray area. You got to go get dudes because there's no spring portal open. It's now or never.
No Colton Hood is coming after spring practice.
I don't care if you hire Jim Knowles. I don't care if you hire Will Muschamp, Buck Nasty. I don't care if you hire the best defensive coordinator in the history of football. You got to have players. Tennessee does not have defensive players right now. There's a lot of dudes who have left this program. You have to replace them with better players. There is no tomorrow. There's now. There's today. There's no gray area. Well, we didn't. Well, we did. Well, you got to consider. No. You're either getting it done or you're not. And if you don't get it done today, it's going to show in the fall when you're playing Texas at home, when you're going on the road at Arkansas, and their new kicker, our old kicker, is out there kicking a bunch of extra points and kicking field goals. Like you don't want that. You don't want that at all, man. Y'all done ran off poor Max. You just ran him off. Poor Max Gilbert. Y'all just ran that boy off. He about to get some revenge now. But he can't get revenge if they don't score when we play at Arkansas. So what you do today will show tomorrow. Recruiting is like shaving. If you don't do it, it shows. Development is like shaving. If you don't do it, it will show. It will show. There's no gray area. You're either getting it done or you're not. And we got to go get it done. Vaughn Birmingham, why is LB out seeing high school kids when he needs to be hammering portal linemen on campus? The days of building a complete line from high school is gone. If they are not starting within 2 years, they will hit the portal anyways. Yeah, here's
because the calendar sucks for college coaches. That's why.
I'm not here to defend LB when it comes to high school evaluation and development because, again, we've had this conversation months and months before some of the people start putting out lists and stuff and talking about
years
it now.
ago.
Yeah, and folks on the text box didn't want us talking about it. But we were early because I saw it. But anyways, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that today. I'm not defending Glenn here, But y'all know they got these planes, they get you to and from really quick. So I'll give y'all an example. So a couple summers ago, Bob Kessler was having a procedure on his knee, and he normally MCs the Big Orange Caravan. And they were like, "Hey, Swain, do you want to fill in?" I was like, "Who, me? Huh? What? Me? You sure?" Like, "Yeah, we're gonna leave such and such." So I'm in this private plane, the UT's plane, with Kelly Harper and Heupel and Rick Barnes, and we get to Memphis. It was the Memphis Caravan. You know how fast we got to Memphis from Knoxville? It was like 30 minutes. It was like 30, 45 minutes. It was so quick. So I say all that to say, when I was a recruit, and I know this was a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. Head coaches are not with the recruit the whole entire time. There are times when the recruit is with the academic side, or they're spending time with their position coach, watching film, or I would say they're with the strength coach, but not in this case. But they are with different people. And then there's a specific time when they are with the head coach. And so it's okay for LP to recruit high school players and Heupel to recruit high school players. I know he was in Martin, Tennessee, recruiting a 3-star.
I'm sure that was a coincidence. There are more than that one player that tweeted that photo that Tennessee is recruiting from Martin. They're recruiting Ty Simpson's little brother, first and foremost, and there's a couple of other players in Martin that they're after, in addition to that player that posted that photo. But I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I will be in this instance. I don't think that was a coincidence.
I mean, I don't either, Ben. Like, again.
And I mean, the simple part of it, in addition to the fact that airplanes exist, I mean, I'm walking out of Bud Walton Arena on Saturday after probably about 2 hours after Tennessee's loss, after I got done with my work, and the basketball team is landing in Knoxville as I'm walking out of the arena, finishing my work. And it's not like I was just staying in there for funsies. I was trying to get out of there. So in addition to the fact that airplanes exist, and you can travel places more quickly than you can drive to them, the calendar stinks for college coaches. And does Tennessee need to spend more time building its roster in the portal like we talked about earlier? Yes. That doesn't mean that they have to ignore high school recruiting or can ignore high school recruiting. They still have to get out and go see guys when they're allowed to. And to Swain's point, like, all these guys have itineraries. We don't know what the itinerary was for this guy or that guy. I highly doubt that they sent Glenn Ellerby on the road to go see high school recruits while a transfer offensive lineman was on campus and didn't allow Ellerby to meet that transfer. I highly doubt that Tennessee allowed that to happen.
I mean, if anybody probably needs to stay home and not recruit high school players,
he would be the one.
It's probably Ellerby. He probably need to just pack it on in and just worry about the portal.
He would be the one. Yeah, but we know that you can't ignore high school recruiting, especially along the offensive line. This is the thing. It's not that Tennessee needs to eliminate recruiting high school offensive line. They need to be better recruiting high school offensive linemen. Their evaluations need to be better. Their development once they get to campus needs to be better. It's not that they need to eliminate recruiting high school offensive linemen. They need to be better at it.
Yeah. I'm going back to the text box. 865-255-03. Give me experienced, smart guys that played a lot of football, don't care about stars, knowledge, effort, hungry players is what I think we need. Tramel, you started 2026, buddy, on the right note, my man. You 1-for-1. You 1-for-1, Tramel. Damn, you nailed that one, Tramel.
I'm proud of you, Tramel.
Tramel, boy, that's how you send a message on the text box, Tramel. You might need to give it up. Don't text anymore, Tramel, because I don't know if you can come harder than that, man. That was straight face, man. I don't know if you can say something better than that. That was spot on, my man. That's spot on. I agree. Stars don't matter, man. The portal. My favorite is when they this kid was a 5-star in 2023. He ain't one now. Who cares?
No, I do not care. I'm really reaching the point to where it's like a lot of the narrative coming out of Alabama's loss to Indiana was Alabama's the more talented football team.
Really?
Why do we only think that the players with the most athleticism are the most talented? Because that's what the rankings are based off of, is how athletic guys are, especially coming out of high school. A little bit different once they get to college because there's plenty of tape on them. But why are the best football players in high school the best players? Why were you the best player every time you stepped foot on a field in the state of Alabama as a high school player? Because you're the best athlete on the field too. And athleticism does not separate you at the next level. It's important, but why do we say that teams are the most – Alabama's the most talented? Why? Because they have the most athleticism, and that's why they were ranked high coming out of high school? How come we don't include the fact that Indiana's receivers run routes better than Alabama's athletic receivers? Why is the athletic receiver viewed as more talented than the Indiana receiver who catches the football more consistently and runs his routes better more consistently? If you could not tell, I'm getting tired of the whole, well, this team's more talented than the other one talk. Well, obviously they're not, because they got their butts kicked in, and that team does a lot more things in the sport of football better than the other team. And just because they're not living off of athleticism doesn't mean that the other team is more talented.
I thought Indiana was the most talented team and a better football team before the game, and I thought they would win. I didn't think they would beat down Alabama like that.
Yes, but the narrative is not that because of what the rankings were.
I get it. And so I think what you have seen around the country is, I know Vanderbilt didn't get to the playoffs, but Vanderbilt went out and got some guys that came from smaller schools that were a little bit older. Indiana did it. Ole Miss has done it. There's examples of ways you can win and be successful with getting players. So that's why, like, I have no response when people are, well, he's from Louisiana. Well, he's from Jacksonville State. I don't care. 2 years ago, he probably been busting his butt for 2 years in the weight room. He's probably better right now than a freshman 5-star. In most cases. In most cases. Not every case, but most cases. So let's make that adjustment. All right, let me hit the text box again. T-Max says, speaking of that game, y'all see that Bama message board saying they were getting beat by 3-star whites. Hey, whatever. They're getting beat. They was getting beat by 5 stars. What it looks like out there. Ben, is it time for Evans to take some of Nate's minutes? Feels like he's producing more. What you got, Ben?
The answer is yes. To Dustin Voll's question, he is referencing Amari Evans and Nate Ament. Yes, Nate Ament needs to continue to start. I'm not selling my stock on Nate Ament. I think, as I've said for weeks now, I think he's just going through growing pains, and when it matters most, he will be ready, which is the most important thing. But in the meantime, Amari Evans is Tennessee's best freshman. Amari Evans has been more productive than Nate Ament as of late. So I would not replace Nate in the lineup with Evans, but throughout the course of the game, if Nate is going to continue to struggle with physicality and his confidence, then yes, I would play Amari Evans more and give Amari some of Nate's minutes, because Amari does not lack confidence. He does not lack mental toughness. He is an absolute dog. He is built for it. I would follow Amari Evans into the abyss. I love Amari Evans. I think he is he's look, those who know me know that I love that grit and grind era of Memphis Grizzlies basketball, and Amari Evans fits in perfectly with the grit and grind era of Memphis Grizzlies basketball. So, yes, I would give some of Nate's minutes to Amari if he's going to continue to struggle physically and with his confidence. I mean, if you had no idea what the high school rankings were and just no context to the roster, and you watched the Arkansas game on Saturday, you would absolutely think that Amari Evans is Tennessee's best freshman. It's one game, but Amari Evans has been really, really impressive, and unfortunately, to this point, Nate has not lived up to the expectations.
Yeah. QC Rodney sent us a good paragraph, so I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to read it because I appreciate him taking the time to send this message. This is probably the longest message of the show. So I want to respect QC Rodney's time and his effort. So this is in reference to Tennessee football. Here's my frustration, Swain and Ben. 43-year-old Vol fan. Grew up in the Atlanta area. First time attended was 92 in Athens. Still have the scorecard print hanging on my wall. So I'm a lifer through it all. We have the assets and the resources to be a top 5, top 10 program consistently. It just seems we cannot get it together. The game has changed. You have to look at a 60-40 high school to portal split. This staff focuses on high school recruiting, but doesn't get them on the field. They portal out after the second year, and that top 10 class has turned into a 20 to 30th class. How is it that simpletons like our fans can see this, but the caretakers of our beloved program cannot? I think they see it now. It's not Tennessee that's only made that I won't even call it a mistake. I guess you can if you want to, but like Ohio State has done the same thing as Tennessee. And they've lost 5 out of their top 7 in the 2024 class. You can always have more money. Like everybody could use more money. Every school can use more money. Do I think Tennessee has money to compete? Yes, I do. And here's the thing that I don't hear anyone talking about that I'll bring up, because I think these guys deserve roses or flowers. Roses are nice. They're nice flowers, so we'll give them roses. But I think these guys deserve roses, man. Spire Sports Group. This was a group that at the beginning of NIL hit the ground running. Some folks didn't even know what was going on, thought Tennessee didn't have a collective or doing anything. That clearly was wrong. Spire hit the ground running. Spire put you in position to go out, get a stud quarterback that you said you wanted, and they made it happen. I remember reports that were ranking the collectives around the country. Spire was right there in the top 3. Tennessee had a freaking lead in the NIL space. Had a window. We don't have a lead anymore. Inspire's done so much great work. Have they been perfect? No. How can you be perfect when you're navigating in this space where there's no rules, no guardrails? How can you be perfect? You're going to make mistakes. But the energy, the effort, the grit, the grind, and these are Tennessee fans, lifers, that took it upon themselves to say, hey, yo, we got to go. We got the fan base. We got the donors. We got the boosters. Like, we can go even the score. Like, we can go even this playing field. And their efforts have been forgotten about. And here we are asking questions about, do we have enough money? Are we aggressive enough in the portal? There was a time when Spire was kicking butt, taking names, my man. It was kicking butt, taking names. Memphis Vol says, going off of that effort comment, am I the only one that remembers walk-on Will Brooks being our best safety? Deshaun Bishop, the walk-on from Carnes, is arguably our best player. Effort greater than potential. Will Brooks should have never been our best safety. That's the problem in itself. It's nothing. It's nothing towards Will Brooks, because I love me some Will Brooks. But Will Brooks should never be the best safety on any football team in the SEC. That means you didn't do a good job recruiting that position and developing that position. That's why Tim Banks didn't have the success he could have had here, because Tim Banks didn't recruit like he needed to recruit. And we didn't evaluate the way we needed to evaluate. And Deshaun Bishop is awesome. He's amazing. Love me some Deshaun Bishop. If you put some of the stuff that Deshaun Bishop is made of and a lot of other guys, they will instantly be better players. But you shouldn't be in a position where you're playing walk-ons. You didn't do something right. Look at the Final Four or even the Final 8 teams in the college football playoff. Did y'all hear any walk-on stories during the game? I might have missed it, Ben. Did you hear any walk-on stories?
Not that I can recall.
I mean, who don't like a good walk-on story, man? Makes your heart melt, right? But I damn sure ain't hear any during the college football playoff. And last year, Tennessee was playing 2. And no offense to Deshaun Bishop and Will Brooks. Deshaun Bishop has earned his role. Will Brooks earned his role. But if you're playing multiple walk-ons and relying on them, and you're supposed to be a top 15 program in the country, top 10 program, something ain't adding up to me. And you're playing a bunch of freshmen, you're the youngest team in the SEC, something ain't adding up. Well, what's not adding up is the recruiting and development. That's what has to improve. And Heupel knows that. Hell, he was asked point blank by Adam Sparks after the bowl game. And Heupel couldn't wiggle all of it. He couldn't coach speak that one. He had to keep it a buck, and he did. All right, going back to the phones quickly. Good morning.
Hey, guys. This is Ricky B. in West Knoxville. How are you guys doing?
What's up, Ricky B?
Hey, real quick, I'm sorry. I only get to catch you guys every once in a while, and just kind of listening to the tone of the topic here the last 10 minutes. Part of me wonders, I kind of looked at how the kind of success that Vanderbilt had this past season, and of course, I only know a little bit about them this this year. I don't know what's going to happen with them this next year. I know they kind of have a bigger budget than we do. Technically, if they can dip into their $6 billion endowment or whatever that is. But I saw that I think they hired Barton Simmons in the off season, kind of as their general manager type of player or person.
They hired him. They hired him when Clark Lee first got the job. He's been there the whole time.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that we have kind of a general manager. I don't really know who that person is.
Billy High.
It really makes a lot of. Who is it?
Billy High.
Billy High. Okay. It makes a lot of sense to have someone that comes from the recruiting side of things, like Barton has with his past history. I just wonder what you guys think about that. You know, do we need to look in a different direction from that person? I don't really know who Billy High is or anything. It just seems like we don't do a good job of kind of looking at our talent and picking the right people, it doesn't seem. So I just wanted to give a quick call in and ask you that question.
Yeah, Ricky B, thanks for the phone call, my man. Good to have you in Knoxville now. I think this is Billy High's first opportunity in the role that he's in, and I hope it finishes better than the portal has started. It doesn't feel like it's starting off hot for Billy. He does have people he answers to. And so I've always been someone that looks at the bigger picture, and I don't allow folks to be thrown under the bus without looking at who their bosses are and if they're following orders. But at the end of the day, Josh Heupel, that's his responsibility to put certain people in place to help him be successful. And he has to trust those people to be the right guy and make the right decisions. When you looked around the country and you start to see guys with NFL backgrounds becoming GMs, you look at Florida, you look at some other programs, it's like, man, why are we not doing that? And we said it. You don't necessarily have to do that. Having a title of GM doesn't mean like you're gonna figure it out. I don't care if you have a title, because Austin Thomas was really like the first dude who started having like the GM title 10 years ago. Well, now you have more people with that title, but recruiting was still recruiting 10 years ago, and no one had a GM title. At the end of the day, it's about evaluating the right players and bringing them on campus and develop him. It's no different now than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. The thing is, you had a coaching change. You had a coaching change on your defense, so there's a lot of uncertainty. And then maybe that caused some confusion. But I felt like Tennessee could have, just like everybody else, having conversations with agents early to make sure that as soon as the agent's client hits the portal, you have an opportunity to capitalize. What you're seeing, and all you have to do is just turn on your brain and see it, you're seeing players hit the portal with a do not contact tag. That means they know where they're going already. That means the groundwork has already been laid, man. The groundwork has already been laid.
Most of the time. There are some instances where players don't want to be bombarded, but most of the time it's because they know where they're going.
Most of the time. But if you are one of the teams like Tennessee, top 10, top 15 program, you got to get in the mix. Whether you think it's right or not right, or, man, it's tampering or not tampering, you got to get in the mix. You got to get the job done.
It felt like when Jacoby Gillespie entered the transfer portal, he was coming to Tennessee. It felt like when Chaz Lanier entered the transfer portal, he was coming to Tennessee. Which of these football recruits when they entered the portal, it feels like they're coming to Tennessee. I guess Ty Simpson would be one if Ty enters the portal. Although
it was a coincidence, man. That Heupel was in Barton, Tennessee. I don't want to hear all that.
No, he's ignoring the transfer portal. He's ignoring the transfer portal. That's what it is. How stupid is that narrative? I'm sorry if that's being a little aggressive, but
that's not,
do some of y'all really think that Josh Heupel is ignoring the transfer portal? Do you think he is prioritizing a 3-star recruit from the 2037 class over portal recruits when his job is on the line next year? Do you think that he would make a move that would compromise Tennessee's chances in the portal with a portal recruit? Do y'all really believe that? When his job, when he's not on the hot seat, but if he doesn't get things turned around, he's going to be on the hot seat. Do y'all really think he's messing around and just being lazy and not making the right decisions? I mean, that narrative, buddy. What are we doing?
Well, here's the thing
with that one.
Well, here's the thing. In defense of those folks, even though I disagree with them, and they should have not even hit send or let the words come out of their mouth, thinking it is okay. And the reason why they're thinking it is because look at all the players that have left the program and look at where we are from a talent deficit versus some of our opponents. And if you wasn't doing it right then, why should they think you're doing it right now? So, like, I understand thinking it, but typing it out and pushing send on social media, no. that wasn't a good idea, Ben, because you should have pumped the brakes and said, you know what? They do make planes. Coaches can be in Knoxville and Memphis in 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
And here's the other thing with portal guys nowadays. The visits, they matter. Don't get me wrong. The visits are very, very important. But there's 2 to 3 questions that they need to be answered.
The facility questions, like that's why Brandon Swordsman went to Texas Tech,
they're not asking
the culture and the facilities, right?
Maybe the culture, not the facilities, not the academic facilities, not the athletic facilities, not where's the nearest Chick-fil-A on campus or to campus. It's the first question is one or the other. It's either how much money, who plays my position. Those are the 2 questions that are being asked first in some order. Some guys, it may just be all about playing time matters more than the money, or for others, it's money over the playing time. And then once they get past those 2 questions, then they ask, okay, am I going to get developed here? Are they going to help me get to the next level? Those are all questions that can be answered over the phone. And then when they do answer them in person on the visit, then they can ride them around campus on the golf cart, show them Neyland Stadium, show them the football facility. But these transfers, they're going to Indiana, they're going to Vanderbilt, they're going to Ole Miss. Do you think they're prioritizing that type of stuff? No, they're prioritizing the money, the playing time, and the development. Jalen Carey had one conversation with Tennessee on the phone and said, all right, I'm good, I'm coming, without even visiting, because he heard on the phone what he needed to hear. So, like, I even kind of think it's silly to even think that thought, that Josh Heupel would compromise himself and Tennessee's chances in the portal. He's not a fool.
If you're emotional,
Josh Heupel wasn't going to fire Tim Banks. He wasn't going to fire Kurt Schmidt. He's too loyal. He's too nice. He's not going to do this. He's not going to do that. Well, up until this point in the offseason, he's done everything that people said he wasn't going to do or could not do because he was too nice. So that throw that one under the silly thoughts for me as well. What's not a silly thought is reaching out to Jennifer Morris for all of your Keller Williams Realty. She texted me this morning and said she is ready to help you with your real estate goals. If you or someone you know is planning to enter the 2026 portal and move to the Knoxville area, we are kind of full, but Jennifer's here to help, especially her Swain Event family. So make sure you give a shout to Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty for all of your real estate needs.
Oh, boy. Oh, man, that's a good question. See, Matt, y'all think Chaney has any input on portal targets? Yeah, Jim Chaney was working with the defense a lot, this past year. He's coached a lot of ball, man. He could be a very important asset to Josh Heupel and some offensive schemes and helping the offense evolve because it certainly needs it. But we'll have to save that conversation for Thursday, my man. Tonight, Tennessee, Texas, 9 p.m. Oh, boy.
Are we allowed to talk about it?
I don't have much time. Sorry.
Well, you said once they start winning, we can talk about them.
Well, I mean,
what does that mean for the football team?
Woo. Well, Ben, basketball.
That's a joke. I'm totally joking. Please, nobody take me seriously.
Ben, basketball is my favorite sport. I love Rick Barnes' program. 100%. Losing to Arkansas on the road, there's no shame in that. Playing, missing the free throws, there is shame in that. That was just atrocious.
Losing the way that they did, there's a lot of shame.
Yeah, but Arkansas is going to be one of the better teams in this league. Winning on the road is difficult. But I understand what people care about more right now, and that is the transfer portal with Tennessee football and fixing the issues and getting players. And so that's why we spent most of our time on it today, even though it is game day for basketball.
I'm just kidding. I totally agree with what Swain is saying. For some of you out there, it's just jokes. Even if it wasn't funny to you, it was just a joke. It was just a joke.
But Tuesday,
I was not insinuating that we should be talking about basketball more than football. I understand.
Thursday, we should be talking about Tennessee beating Texas at home, and then getting ready for a tough road test against Florida in the O-Dome. And Chaz Coleman, hopefully we'll have a decision for him. I know he may take another visit to Ohio State, and then he'll choose between the three schools.
Hopefully we'll have a decision from Ori Williams as well. Hopefully Tennessee can, for their sake, keep him from visiting Georgia.
Yep. So we should have.
I'd be surprised if by Thursday we don't have a commitment or two to discuss.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah.
If not, then something has gone wrong. Even more wrong.
Oh boy. I need to get a hobby, man. I need to get
Take up golf. There's some of those videos on YouTube. Bring that back.
No, I don't want to do that. This Tennessee football is driving me crazy.
What happened to your yard work? That was always your relief valve when Pruitt and Butch and them were coaching. And I know you still do your yard work, obviously, and love it. Just keep on keeping on there. It's not cold this week. You can get out in the yard, and you'd get out there in 13-degree weather anyways to do yard work. So just stay out there in the yard. Feels nice. You and Ace and Woosaw. It's never as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems. Just remember that, Swain.
Well, that's true, and I agree with you. But these last two football games, Ben, they've almost taken me out, man.
Hey, but they beat Florida on the road.
It ain't even about losing; it's how, and anyways, I'm leaving. I'm going somewhere else.
Have fun talking about it for 3 more hours with Kevin Simon later today.
Yeah. Josh will be back today.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that.
So
shout out to Josh and shout out to K. Simon.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it more. You're right about that. For the next
3 more hours.
3 more
well,
hours.
Technically, you'll be sitting in the same chair for 3 hours, but you'll really be talking for an hour and a half. So at least you got that going for you.
Correct. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Ben McKee, Globalls 247. I'm Jason Swain here in the Low T Center studio. If you need help with any outdoor life coming indoors. That is Alpha Wildlife. AlphaWildlife.com, veteran owned, multiple locations in Tennessee, South Carolina, parts of Kentucky as well. That is AlphaWildlife.com. Peace and much love. We are out. Swain Event.